Hello, everybody. Today we are going to continue with Napoleon Bonaparte. This class is going to be concentrated on the first steps he took in his government and how he showed his ambition, greed, and personality in his government. We cannot overlook the fact that we discussed last class when he went to Paris to the Academy of Military Science. He developed strong feeling against the French because he didn't have a happy life as a student. He ate dry bread and he didn't have social life. So he showed all these characteristics in his government. When he produced the coup d'etat in 1799 with the support of the people, he imposed autocracy. What kind of government is autocracy? Remember that autocracy is absolutism, but the power does not rest upon only one person, but on a group of people. Because his executive power was the consulate, and the consulate was composed by a group of people. The consulate was composed of three consuls, but all the power rested upon the first consul. The first consul decided absolutely everything. He proposed laws, for example, although there was a senate that was appointed by the consuls and a kind of legislative body. They could not debate laws. They had just to accept the laws that came from the first consul. He conducted foreign affairs and he controlled the army. So he controlled everything. At first, when the consulate was set up, the term the consulate had was a 10-year term. So each consul was going to be in government for a period of 10 years. Was Napoleon happy with that situation? No, because he was too ambitious. He wanted to be an absolute monarch. Although he was an absolute monarch, because as you know, he was the first consul and decided everything. He wanted more and more. So he wanted to transform the consulate into an empire. And in order to do that, he had to achieve two important things. The first aspect was to transform the 10-year term into life term. And with a plebiscite, he could do that. That is to say, with the support of the people, this 10-year term turned into a life period. And the second step was to transform this life period in government and make it hereditary. And he also could do that through another plebiscite. So he transformed the consulate into an empire. And as an emperor, he was Napoleon I. I was thinking of Napoleon III, but that comes later. He was Napoleon I as an emperor. As France had a strong bond with the Catholic Church, he decided to invite the Pope Pius VIII to his coronation. But when the Pope, who used to crown the different monarchs in Europe, was going to crown Napoleon, he took the crown and crowned himself. This showed his ambition, and also this shows that he did not want to depend on the Catholic Church. So he divorced his first wife, Josephine, and he got married with Marie-Louise from Austria. So what was the objective? He wanted, as you know, the consulate turned into an empire. It was hereditary. So he needed a male son. So he divorced Josephine and he got married with Marie-Louise with one objective. As the consulate was now an empire, he needed a son that could continue with his reign, with his monarchy. And that is why he wanted a son, and he divorced Josephine and got married with Marie-Louise. At first, Napoleon was diagnosed with by doctors that he could not have an heir. because he had a medical condition that prevented him from having an heir. But this was not real because he had an illegitimate son with one of his sister's maid. So that is why he wanted a son, and that is why he married to Maria Louise. But well, you will know later on what happened with that situation. As I told you, now he was Napoleon I, and he started the government of Emperor of France. What were the most important aspects of his government? Well, first of all, he remember those strong feelings against the aristocracy of France. So he redistributed lands among the people who did not have land. So he confiscated lands from the church and distributed among people who need it. He enlarged harbors, built roads with one objective. It was not just to for the benefit of the people of France, but with obviously military purposes, because he wanted to enlarge French territories, and that is was going to be easier for him and for his army to invade different territories with better harbors, with better roads, canal and bridges. He also started educational plan. He built elementary schools in different villages. He also high schools or secondary schools in important cities. In capital cities, he created the teacher training colleges, and obviously he founded the National University of Paris in France. He also created the Bank of France. So he did different. He took different measures for the benefit of France. But well, the problem with Napoleon was his ambition, and the more he conquered, the more he felt he had to conquer. And that is going to be in the next class. Thank you.